We are at the 1992 NBA draft. The Magic won the lottery after a shitty ass season, right? They were 21-61.
Yep.
They were an expansion franchise, right? They really only they started their franchise within the last 5 years, right? 89 or 90. When was their first?
I'm not 100%.
Their first regular season game. I'll tell you in 2 seconds. Yeah, 89-90 season. So they're about to turn 4 for the 92 NBA draft. This is a brand new franchise. They haven't had much success previously, obviously, as you can see. Yeah. Super duper losing record in total as a franchise. But ping pong balls hit, and they are in the draft lottery. And Shaq and his agent, Leonard Armato, both don't know whether they really want to be in Orlando or not. So in the media, there's this constant like verbal struggle, it seems like, where the media is like, hey, are you excited to go to Orlando? And both Shaq and Leonard Armato are both like, Shaq's really excited to play basketball this season. He's really excited to finally be in the NBA. Like, they're being very non-committal to Orlando. And there's a lot of speculation that Leonard Armato wanted him to be in LA as a rookie.
It makes sense with everything Shaq's done. Like,
and he saw, his agent saw Hollywood and movies and all the extracurricular Shaq could get into before he even got in the league, right? So they're being super non-committal. So that was the drama going into the 92 draft, was if Shaq would actually play for Orlando and if they would really pick him based on that. Because there were, in Shaq's mind, what Shaq has always said to combat the LA stuff is that he's superstitious, right? And he spent his college career really playing okay against Christian Laettner and thinking that Christian Laettner was better than him. He made the dream team over Shaq.
Yep.
And then if it's not him, then there's Alonzo Mourning, who was coming up from Georgetown at that point, and it was getting over amongst the media. So it was between the three of them for the number 1 overall pick, according to Shaq, and he didn't want to jinx anything. Do you buy it?
Yeah. Nah. My main reason is because I know Shaq for sure. Like, he's petty as shit, and he definitely thought, like, I should be on this dream team instead of Christian Laettner. Like, I know for a fact he thought that. And like, Shaq's just never in his whole career, like, really, besides these docs and all this other stuff, like, he's never been a humble guy. Like, he's been pretty cocky. Like, at this point, I could understand when he was first in college, in the beginning of college, him being humble and saying, hey, I just want to block shots or whatever. Because I've only been playing for 5-6 years.
Right.
I got these 2 other guys who have probably been playing their whole life.
Right.
Like, and they're better than me.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for me to. But then once that sophomore year happened, where he's like, oh shit, I could be a superstar. Like, this, like, I'm averaging 27-14. Like, this is not normal. Yeah. And then the very next year he sees, these dudes are literally hacking me because they can't stop me. And he says in his doc, he says, I took that as a sign of respect when the Hacker Shack happened, because I knew that meant you can't guard me any other way but trying to physically hurt me. So he's looking at it like that. He's like, you don't got to do this to Christian Laettner. You don't got to do this to Alonzo Mourning. Like, sure, they might be able to make a jump shot over me, but you can't stop me from dunking or getting to the rim. And he was like getting hook shots. He was starting to pass the ball and stuff too. Like so, and because of his training with Kareem and Bill Walton. So it's like, there's no way in hell he thought Christian Laettner was just better than him. Like,
I would say I don't think he thought he was better. I think there's a big chance he thought that Christian Laettner was more talented than him, because I think Shaq is very self-aware on what he had to do to stand out in the league. Yeah. Like, he knows he doesn't have the best touch. Christian Laettner probably had better touch than him. Like, to him, he probably had more talent. But Shaq was. It's him. It's Shaq. It's MJ. It's Wilt, and it's LeBron for the 4 most athletic human beings to ever grace the NBA in some order. Like, there's nobody there's very few people on that same level of athletic freakishness.
Yeah.
Crazy. But no, so the Magic do take Shaq, right? And he is
they're not stupid.
He
like imagine, because this could have been like a MJ situation too, right? Like, there's like, because remember, MJ came in third, and it was because Hakeem should have been first.
Yeah.
Right. In this case, you really could look at it and say, based on Christian Laettner's career,
so far,
I would take Christian Laettner first. But you want to know what happened? Is the world looked at what happened with Michael Jordan, and they said, no, we take who we think is gonna be unstoppable, and that's what they did, and that's why they took Shaq.
Not to mention he's the center. Not to mention they don't have to worry about the guard stuff. The reason why Hakeem went first and the reason why Sam Bowie went second is because even after that point in 1992, when this is happening, you build your team around a big man. And in 1992, outside of Michael Jordan, it's the land of the fucking giants. Ewing, Robinson, freaking Elijah. Like, Barkley's a big man. He's not tall, but he's considered a big man forward. Karl Malone, like, it's a big guy's paradise.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of center and power forward talent in the league at this point. But Shaq kind of becomes the first player on a small market team to, like, be super duper over. Like, it doesn't matter that he's playing for Orlando. The media is coming to watch him.
Yeah. Like, that was, and I found that super interesting because I don't know if it, I mean, I'm sure he probably did, but he probably looked at what MJ did, because MJ's coming, almost 10 years before him. Sure. And he saw, once MJ came in, he got a shoe deal. He already had the personality, the persona, everything that made people love Shaq. Like, everybody talked about how he was like such a media darling, pretty much.
So hyped up.
He took advantage of that. He's like, oh, I'm gonna freaking be in commercials. I'm gonna do all of this other stuff to get more money. Like, I mean, Shaq's he was about his business from day one.
Yeah.
Like,
and outside of LeBron, who came after him, obviously, I don't know if there's anybody who had this much hype on them that delivered, that, like, lived up to it. Because he's super hyped up, and he's going to win Player of the Week in the NBA in his very first week. Yeah. His very first week, he wins Player of the Week.
I do want to add on to something that I just said, that he was about his business. I can't believe I forgot to say this during his college thing when I literally had it written down. But so Shaq literally, his parents don't let him try to go to the NBA after his sophomore year, right? And it was because they wanted him to learn about it's like his mom brought him a checkbook and told him to balance the checkbook, and he couldn't. So that made them keep him in college, wanted to learn. And then his very first year in the NBA, he still messes up. Like, how did you stay? They made you stay for the 3 years, and you still mess up your first year.
Imagine being in the room when Shaq's mom comes in and goes, "Oh, you think you're ready for the NBA, huh? You think you're ready? Here, do me a favor. Tell me how much money you're going to make and how you're going to settle it." And he just looks at the fucking paper with 6 heads. He goes, shit, I better stay in school.
But that's crazy to me because we usually, and I know this is a conversation we have often, but like a lot of these young players don't think about stuff like that, and that's why they get screwed, right? That's why they waste their money and all this other stuff. But Shaq had like people there telling him, don't, like, you know, in his mind,
didn't need to go down this way.
Yeah, exactly. He still did it. That's funny as hell to me.
$3 million his first year in the league.
And he blew $1 million
in like a day.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous. But no, first 5 games for Shaq in his career, he's 26-16 with 3.5 blocks, shooting 57%. Stupid. This is your first fucking cup of coffee in the NBA, and you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna butt fuck everybody with ease.
And he shot 61% from the free throw line. That's like high for him.
Yeah, and that for this whole season. That's for the season, or that was just for those?
No, that's those games.
That was for that stretch. For the season, he's at 60, which is one of the higher percentages for Shaq.
59.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm just about to say.
Fucking. Was it 10? Yeah, 59. Where's that going to be? It's his third best for his whole career.
Wow, that's crazy.
So like, it's good but there's so many amazing high points during this rookie season, despite the fact that they don't make the playoffs. First of all, they increased their win total by 20, which is a massive improvement, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else do I got here? What's the first major?
You have that he was top 10 in 4 different statistical categories.
Yeah. Points per game, rebounds, field goal, and block.
Yep. That's crazy. That's pretty dope.
I didn't realize he was the only person that year to do it too.
Yeah, he's like, so he was dominating on literally both ends.
Yeah. No question the rookie of the year. And won rookie of the month almost every single month of the season.
How did Christian Laettner and Alonzo Mourning do?
That's actually a good question. It's a great question. Let's go to rookies. Because we can sort it just by rookies. I think the Magic made the right call.
Yeah. You could probably just look at the rookie of the year stuff and they'll probably be in there.
Oh, yeah, true. Good point. So it was just Shaq and Alonzo Mourning that got votes. Laettner didn't even get votes. Statistically, only a little bit better than Alonzo Mourning, but there's so many ridiculous highlights that Shaq has throughout the season.
To me, that's much better. Like because he also shot 56% from the field too.
Yeah.
Like so that means he's like he's a walking bucket pretty much.
Yeah.
Like,
no, Shaq definitively better as a rookie than Alonzo, but this is nothing to sneeze at. 21-10 with 3.5 blocks a rookie year is solid. You know what I mean?
I'd be happy as shit if he was on my team as a rookie.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Shaq obviously led the league in dunks this year with 322 dunks. Last year, Otis Thorpe led the league in dunks with 162. So Shaq's
in
almost
2020. You're saying, right?
No, I'm saying Otis Thorpe in 1990. 1991.
Because I saw that and I was like, "Who the hell is Otis Thorpe?" I'm like, I didn't know there was.
He's one of the Twin Towers. After Ralph Sampson, it was him and Elijah.
Okay.
But he had 162 dunks the year before. Shaq shattering that, 322 in one year.
Doubled it.
Yeah,
doubled up.
Fucking bonkers. Some of these games are crazy. So January 16th, 93, his first matchup with Michael Jordan is an absolutely incredible overtime game. Pretty sure it's overtime.
Yep.
Yeah, overtime game, 128-124. Shaq shows up, 29 points, 24 rebounds, 5 blocks, shot 61%. And let me tell you something. MJ also showed up, 64 big ones. This is the type of shit that gets you over in a small market. When the good players come to town and you're definitely on national TV, you're showing out. There's more examples of this. When Shaq in February went against Patrick Ewing, his idol. The reason why he had his number was because of Patrick Ewing. They go to overtime. Triple overtime, as a matter of fact. Shaq has 21 points, 19 rebounds, 9 blocks. Ewing, 34 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 blocks. And the Magic win by 2.
Yeah, 2 Bulldogs just freaking going at it.
So when did I say that?
But the only thing, so throughout this process, throughout these next 2 years, pretty much, Shaq's doing a lot of commercials. He's pretty much everywhere, right? And he was actually starting to get criticism from it. Like even Magic Johnson, which I found, and I think Magic Johnson at this point, he's retired, right? And he's in the booth.
Yes, just recently retired.
Yeah. So he goes and Magic Johnson's. They asked, what do you think about him being on, doing all of this stuff at the age of 23 or whatever. I think he was 23 at this time, which I was surprised that he was so easily critical of him, knowing because they usually, especially players, they treat each other like a fraternity kind of thing.
Look what Larry Bird said about him. Look what Larry Bird said about Shaq in a similar time frame.
Yeah,
he said he was the best player outside of Michael Jordan. Yeah,
exactly. By the way, Larry Bird was just for a mean guy, this dude complimented everybody. What the hell? He gave the biggest compliments all the time. He was like, "Yo, yeah, Michael Jordan, Jesus in sneakers." This dude, greatest player I've ever seen since Michael Jordan. This is the second coming of Jesus. What
Larry's
the hell is
about the superlatives. Larry's about going hard.
Word. He's I know I'm gonna be in the headlines for this. But in terms of Magic Johnson, he was at his age, I was focusing on how to get better, not focusing on media and all this other stuff. So he really just shit on him right away, and I was surprised at that.
This commercial that we're watching right now, this came out Super Bowl Sunday of his rookie year. This was a Super Bowl commercial, and this came out during his rookie season. It's his first Reebok commercial. And here are, as I paused it before, some of the greatest centers of all time to that point. Wilt, Bill Walton, Bill Russell, and Kareem. The best that there are. Really the 4 best to that point. And he's basically, the idea of this commercial is, Shaq's going to be the next great center. The next great transcendental center.
Yeah.
And this is another thing that got him criticism. But the reason why he was able to get away with these commercials and get all the spotlight is because of these crazy games he was having against some of the biggest talent. We talked about the Knicks thing. The very next game, he puts up 46 and 21 with 5 blocks against Isiah Thomas and Joe Dumars in another overtime game. He's just getting in all these exciting, fun games this rookie year.
Yeah.
And just let him know that he's ready.
What makes you think, why do you think people were so hard on him, though? Because I'm just, I feel I feel he looked at what Michael Jordan did and was I'm going to do that plus more because I can. And I feel people were fine with MJ because MJ had a sneaker before he even started playing basketball.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That was only Bird and Magic really had sneakers at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm just
there were a couple people. There were a couple people besides them, but they all had Converse, and it was very much Jordan was the first one to break away from the pack. Shaq. This goes back to what we were talking about with Wilt. Nobody fucking roots for Goliath. Nobody.
That's what I'm thinking. It has to be that.
Nobody roots for Goliath. And if they're gonna root for Goliath, I feel like Shaq was the closest one to being a pure babyface. There were people that definitely criticized his play, but people loved him. He was universally people loved his personality.
Would you? And I feel especially listening back to some of the games and stuff.
Sure.
At that time, do you feel the announcers had the brains of like peanuts, like the way they talked about the game, and like, do you feel like that? Because I feel like they would say like dumb shit like all this time, and it's just like
we talked about this during Michael Jordan's legacy breakdown.
Yeah,
and because we were talking about little things like you're just surprised when you go back and you watch some of the older basketball that they don't take their shots and instead of making mid-range shoot threes. Like the IQ just seems off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think you can tell. I think you can tell with the commentators how much the league has transformed in the last 30 years.
Seriously, and it's because you have, I guess, because you also have NBA players or people who played and watched the game for years. Like you have Mark Jackson, freaking, announce like calling the games, and he like literally is one of the smartest basketball coaches and everything of the last like 20 years. So it makes sense.
The game sounds and looks much more sophisticated than it did previously.
Facts. Yeah, 100%. Because I listen and I'm like, yo, these guys are idiots. Like,
I think that a lot. Like, and with the IQ, like when you see spacing on the floor in the early 90s, you're just like, why? Let's just do this. Let's have everybody just like be, you know how much easier this could be if you just took 10 feet further backwards?
Like I know you've mentioned this before, but I can't wait until the game kind of moves towards like a mix. Like I feel like right now, obviously, there's too much threes, and they're kind of starting to like bring that back a little with the way they're officiating. But I can't wait until it gets to that nice mix where like you just start like there's gonna be the best amount, the most. I mean, I guess the most efficient amount of mid-range 3-point.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna get to that point where they're like, all right, this is how we should play because obviously this is too much and this is too little.
Look at James Harden, for example. Like we're recording this in January of 2022. So James Harden had a really rough start to the year, but if you look at his last month, like since Christmas, let's say, last 2 or 3 weeks, he's averaging 25, fucking 8 and 11, and he's getting to the line 11 times a game. Like he figured it out. When we get to that point, we're expected. But if we get to a point where all these guys figure it out by next year or the year after, I think we're going to be in a really cool spot for basketball. I definitely agree. I forgot. There's one more very important thing we got to talk about during this rookie year, and that is Backboard's getting absolutely destroyed by Shaq. So he did this twice, right? The big one that everybody kind of talks about is this one we're going to watch right now, that occurred in April of '93, his rookie year, and Derek Coleman is a net, and apparently Derek Coleman dunked on Shaq in a net game previously, and Shaq, to this day, claims that that's the only time he's ever been dunked on.
In your career? I always took pride in being a big man that never got dunked on. So one time in New Jersey, because I'm from Newark, New Jersey, in front of all the fans, playing against Derek Coleman. And if you don't know Derek Coleman, he's left-handed, he's a beast. So Derek has me on the block, and he takes 1 dribble, 2 dribbles, drop step, hit me with a little ball, and dunked it. And I didn't really know he dunked it until I came down and the ball hit me. And then when I turned around to him, he did me like that in front of everybody. And I looked up at my mom and dad, and I went to the bench and I had a little tear in my eye. I was just sitting there like, oh, so mad.
So he took it personally, extremely personally, right? And when he goes to the Meadowlands, he tells all of his teammates, he goes, I'm trying to bring that fucking backboard down to the ground. Every time I dunk it, I'm trying to fucking murder the backboard.
Yeah.
Which creates this. Hasn't been done before, hasn't been done since. They changed the entire way backboards were made because of this man and his massive size. I don't know what else to say. Because his penis is this long.
The videotape, and they're like, yeah, this guy's a monster.
Who is this man?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mind you, he's like, what, 21, 22 years old?
Mm.
And stunned. I remember watching this when I was a kid, right? Seeing it on I must have been like 8 years old when I first saw this highlight. And I just thought, it felt like it was rigged. Like it felt like somebody made that backboard to get broken down because of how easily it like just totally came apart.
That dude's trying to say, yeah, that's nothing. Don't worry about him. Don't worry about him. It's all right.
It's just an and
like,
one.
He ain't really dunk on me. We good. Like,
fucking just rips the whole thing down. You can tell too. He's like,
yo, I'm not gonna lie, yo. There's no way. Like, you look at these people and think, yeah, they're 22 years old.
Facts.
They look like they're 43 years old and they could be my dad. Like they're younger than me and they look like they could be my father.
I definitely agree. And it's funny because now when kids get drafted, like LaMelo, good example of this, and Lonzo before him, their bodies are just like, outside of Zion. Zion's really the only one I've seen in a while where he looks like a fucking adult. Yeah. But these guys, they come in with these small bodies and then they grow into their man bodies, as LeVar Ball likes to say.
Yeah. But to me, Zion still looks young. Like, sure, like he probably still looks older than me, but like he doesn't look that old to me. Like, I don't know. It's crazy, some of these guys.
Another one of Shaq just absolutely taking down a board. Look at these people haul ass.
And he ran. He was just like, I ain't trying to have that break.
He's like, oh shit, not again.
He was like, I wasn't even trying this time.
No, this one was actually before the Nets one. And I gotta believe he did this and went, next time I go to the Nets, I'm trying to do this again. But really fun rookie year. Like, yeah, he doesn't make the playoffs, but he got a 60-plus point game out of MJ. He got overtime games out of all these legends. He gets the commercial on Super Bowl Sunday with the 4 best centers of all time to that point. And
do you think?
Yeah.
No, keep on. My bad.
And what I was going to say is the rocket ship is just taking off like this for this man.
Do you think the closest thing of hype that we've had of this in like the last 10, 15 years, like when I think about this hypeness, I feel like Blake Griffin comes to mind. Like the dunking, the commercials, the entertainment. Lindsay, you probably will be a good person to ask about this, but like to me, Blake Griffin had all of that. Like obviously not the superstars wanted to go at him like Shaq had, but I feel like Blake Griffin definitely had like this, like that hype around him.
Yeah, he had a lot of hype around him, and he had a lot of endorsements until he punched that trainer in the face.
Yeah. So like, when did he jump over the car? It wasn't his. That
was his rookie year.
Yeah,
that was his rookie year.
Okay, so his rookie year, he got injured before he could ever play. So then his rookie year is really his sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what we mean.
Yeah, yep. So
go on.
That's the only difference. But like, I think that's what helped build up the hype even more, though, because everybody was like, "Yo, we were expecting this dude to go off, and then he got injured right away. Like, what's gonna happen this coming year?" Kind of thing.
And they were both number 1 overall picks. My thing is, and this could be up for debate, but in my opinion, Shaq coming into the NBA had more of a hype train going on him than Blake Griffin. That may have been screwed up because of the ACL thing. Maybe it would have been different had Blake never tore his ACL. Maybe we would have looked at it a little different. Mm-hmm. But Shaq, everybody that right before he even played a game, people thought Shaq could be a top 10 NBA player right then and there. There were multiple quotes about it. And then he comes in. And gets Player of the Week his very first week, and as we've shown, gets into all these incredible games with all these legends. Yeah, like I think that helps him so much. You get the rub from in wrestling and pro wrestling. It's called getting the rub. When the major star goes with the up and coming talent, and tries to get him over further. Shaq had so many moments like that.
Like to add on to that fan base kind of thing. Yeah. I felt that.
And Shaq had
like the MJ thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like the MJ thing. MJ dropping 64 is like, oh shit, MJ dropped 64, but look at this dude. Like he just got a 2020 game.
Think about how hard MJ had to go just to beat this fucking mastodon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like
I definitely would never say that Blake Griffin was like at the level or like, but I was just saying like in the last 10, 15 years, thing is something that you could kind of compare it to if you were like a current NBA fan and didn't know anything about Shaq somehow. That would be like the kind of hype, but more, obviously.
Yeah. I was about to say, because you limited it to 10, 15 years, that cuts out LeBron. Because LeBron's the only one, in my opinion, that is like extremely similar. Like with Hype Train before coming to the NBA and then delivering. I think it's just him. It's Shaq, it's LeBron, and it's Kareem that came in with that hype and absolutely delivered. There have been other guys, but they didn't deliver to the same level as these.
And not immediately.
Exactly.
Because I know like always say it, but like Kobe, he got hype, but he didn't deliver until like 4 or 5 years after that. You know what I mean?
You saw flashes of it. You saw flashes of it, but you're right.
Yeah.
Completely right. But they don't make the playoffs, barely, right? And that sets us up for one of the luckiest moments in NBA history. And creates Shaq's first NBA dynamic duo. Hey guys, if you like what you heard, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Just type in Apex Greatness on YouTube to see everything we put out this year. From legacy breakdowns to current NBA and NFL content. We have over 150 videos to binge if you're that type of person, or just to listen to in your spare time. We have about 2 to 5 hours of new content every week. Check us out. Later.